little specialty show. That's right. Welcome into Driving the Line and our college football first round playoff show. We're planning on doing these before every single round. First year that we've had 12 teams, and I got to tell you, at least from a DTL perspective, I've never been more into college football than I am right now. You've got 4 teams that are on a bye. You've got 8 teams playing this weekend. 1 game on Friday. It's Indiana and Notre Dame. 3 games all spaced out. They all have their own TV window. The 4 winners then will play the 4 teams on a bye, and so on and so forth. So to do a show like this, I got to bring in 3 of my absolute very best. And Mr. College Football himself, my partner. Let's introduce him first. AB, welcome to college football on our very first 12-team playoff. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Coach. Boys, everybody in the crew. And look, Tina's in here. Tina's already got first touchdowns ready to go in these games. Got it all set.
Oh, my God. If we did gems for these games, then I'll be like 0-150 for the entire year. My God. Now, he's our numbers guy for a reason, a very special college football playoff welcome to Rafael Espot. Hello, Rafael.
Hello, Coach. This is bowl season. Just like when you're shopping for Christmas, you always want to get the best price for your Christmas gifts. You want to get the best price for college bowl season as well. And these 4 games are going to be moving probably for the next 48 hours.
You need to follow my guy. He has all the line movement, whether it's on the morning show on DTL, here on our playoff. You got 48 hours. We're taping this, doing this live on Wednesday. First game is on Friday night, and you do not want to bother this man on Friday night. He is the #1 celebrity fan of the Indiana Hoosiers, live from Memphis, Tennessee. DG, what's good, man?
What's up, Coach? What's up, crew? This is a national holiday we're looking at on Friday. It's the Battle of Indiana. I'm excited. I know everybody else is as well.
Tina says, don't mention gifts. I'm not done shopping yet. LOL. Well, touchdown, Tina, with all that first touchdown money you've made this year, you should have plenty of gifts to buy there for the household. So here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to look at all 4 games. And then we're going to look at some specialty bets that you can make. Some of them you have to make before the playoffs even start, and they will change as we go. And then at the end of the show, we will reveal points or spreads, what we like in all 4 games. Make sense? Let's get to it. Friday night, Indiana and Notre Dame. There you see it at the bottom. This number has kind of moved a little bit, Raphael. It was at 7, and now it's at 7.5 at most books. We're using DraftKings for ours. Do you see this going up or down by game time?
I'm hoping Touchdown Jesus money continues to come in so we can maybe move off that 7.5. DraftKings is the only book that has 7.5. Everyone else pretty much land at 7. By kickoff, I think we're just going to see 7, and they're going to just move the juice around -3 nickels or maybe -120. This game is going to be fun. The only Friday game, and they're getting a lot of Hoosier public money. A lot of wise guy action is coming on Touchdown Jesus.
It's kind of weird, AB, because I think the reason it's at 7.5 because Indiana had like 1 big game, and that was against Ohio State, and they lost by more than 20 points. And I think that's what the books are looking at. Do you think the number is right in this one?
I do. And you know what? If I were the books, I would have put that hook on there too. Like, if you're going to bet Notre Dame, I'm going to make you pay that tax of betting the hook, right? Because Notre Dame, ever since they lost at Northern Illinois, they've been a wagon. Like, that was the best thing that ever happened to them, was losing that game. Indiana, the other side of it, they have nothing to lose. Like, you're going out and being exactly you. Don't be conservative. Go out and put it on them. The pressure's on Notre Dame. It's not on you, and you've got the perfect guy right there in Curtis Rourke, quarterback for Indiana, to be that. And that these 2 teams are in the same state. Oh, man. I love it. That's going to be a great atmosphere, man.
It's going to be amazing. And by the way, if you guys didn't know at home, all of these first-round games are on campus, and then they'll move into the bowls after that. So having a home game at Notre Dame in late December, oh, my goodness, DG. But as we look a little bit deeper into the Indiana schedule, they really, outside of Ohio State, they didn't play any high-level teams. Do you think they're getting disrespected just a little bit?
I don't think so, because Notre Dame has shown that they can win, decently big games, but honestly, they played well outside of that one hiccup that they had against Northern Illinois. But I think it all comes down to the line. If Notre Dame can dominate the line of scrimmage, this game will be completely dominated. We saw that when Indiana went up against Michigan and Ohio State. They were just oversized. And so if Notre Dame can continue to keep that kind of going, I think they'll be able to win this game. It all just comes down to the trenches. And I love this game just overall. Everything that is going on with it, the Battle of Indiana is great.
There's so many storylines that make sense here. I just hope that Indiana doesn't get lost in the I'm just happy to be here space, because they gave their coach who's been there one season a big extension, as did Notre Dame. But Notre Dame's head coach has been there for 4 or 5 years. He only had a couple of years left on his deal. Indiana is showing how much they're all in to try to change this from a basketball school, and a.k.a. Bobby Knight in the 70s and 80s, and now turn it into a football school. A win on Friday night, guys, would absolutely take a gigantic step forward in doing just that. Game number 2 Saturday, SMU and Penn State. And this one could be a lot of fun. Penn State showed us an offense in the Big Ten Championship against Oregon that I didn't know that they truly had. SMU, I think, AB, got into this by how they played in the second half of the ACC Championship, almost beating Clemson. 8.5 again. It seems like a big number unless you watch the first half of SMU and Clemson.
You're exactly right, Coach. And, we all know James Franklin, head coach of Penn State, his record against top 10 teams is atrocious, top 25. It's bad. It's really, really bad, and everyone knows about it. And understand, to win the national championship, you have to win 4 games if you're one of these 8 teams, right? You got to win 4 games, and they're all going to be against top 15, top 12 teams. So if James Franklin's going to do it, he's going to do it. All right, quarterback's coming back next year. Allaire, you see him right there. All positive vibes. SMU, you're going to have to bring it, because Penn State showed a whole lot in that game against Oregon, both offensively and defensively. I think Penn State shows up. I think James Franklin's tired of hearing how he can't win big games.
There's no doubt. They lost to Ohio State this year by 7 at home, and then they did not go away, DG, in that Big Ten championship game. They just kept scoring and scoring and scoring. And SMU's defense, to be polite, is not great. I think Penn State is licking their chops.
I think it comes down to that the SMU defense and how they can kind of control the line of scrimmage with the run game. If they can somehow slow down the Penn State run game, I believe this is a game. If not, they're not going to be able to do what they did to Clemson. This isn't Clemson on the other side where you start off that slow and then get that far behind and catch back up. No. Penn State will put them away for sure, because this isn't going to be Clemson that day.
It's a big, big step up. And you also have a Clemson team that we'll talk about, Raphael, that is in the playoffs as well. SMU has a quarterback. It's one of those stories where the coaches came to watch somebody else and they go, oh, who's that quarterback over there? He looks pretty good. So he's still getting a little bit seasoned at this level. Do you think playing Penn State is too big of a step for him?
Not really, because Penn State struggles with mobile quarterbacks, and that's what SMU is, a mobile quarterback. So it's going to be very interesting seeing what linebacker or that's what they call Penn State, because they produce so many great linebackers. Could they stop the run of the running back and that running game? I think this number is way too high. Single-digit dogs in the last 5 years in bowl games are 37 and 47 outright W's. So 47 games, 37-1 outright. So this one screams maybe SMU, and I just can't put money on Penn State on how they struggle on big games, but a little bit shocked on this number. I think this one comes down. I think the bettors knew that the wise guys are going to bet Penn State because of their tougher schedule they probably face, and this one will drop. I say look for that 8.5 or 8 right now.
So did you just say 37 and 10? They're 37 and 10?
The last, single-digit dogs, the last 47 dogs, single digits, 37 and 1 outright.
Oh, my God. That is shocking to me. That is absolutely shocking to me. Maybe they're a live dog. Maybe a little sprinkle on the money line. You never know, at plus 250. All right. You're watching the College Football Playoff Show for first rounds. DG, AB, Raphael. Keep that chat popping. Any questions, we'll try to get to as many as you can. Hopefully, we'll cover them throughout the show. We'll get our picks at the end of the show. Game number 3. We just mentioned the Clemson Tigers. This is not a single-digit dog, DG. this is Texas. And the big question for me is who's going to get the call at quarterback? Because in the SEC championship, Ewers did not play good football against Georgia at all. And I don't know why Steve Sarkisian is so hesitant to give the reins to Archie Manning. But if it were me, Archie Manning would be under center on Saturday. What about you?
I don't think Archie Manning's ready just yet, especially in a big game like this. Like they went to him during what game was that where they played somebody and they went to Archie for a little bit and he didn't look good either. Like I just don't think you would go that direction. I think this Texas team is really, really good, and we're going to see them not play a Georgia team when they play against Clemson. I think that's really all it comes down to. Is I do believe this team is going to be a reckoning throughout this entire playoff.
And part of the reason that the spread's at 12, AB, is if you look at the last couple of games for Clemson, 2 games ago, they didn't even think they were going to make it to the ACC championship game because Miami had to lose to Syracuse, and they did, and gave up over 40 points in the process. And you still had some Hurricanes fans that were bitching that they didn't get in. Shut it. Stop it. Your defense is terrible. So Clemson gets in, they get a big lead, and then they barely hang on. You had Dabo saying, thank you, Lord. Thank you to the good Lord above. He should be thanking the good Lord above. But this matchup, your take.
So you nailed it on Clemson right there. Look, credit for them being here. I didn't think that they were going to be that good of a team this year. They've made it way further than anybody else thought that they would, and they've been playing great towards the end of the season. Here's the problem. They're catching Texas at the worst possible moment because Texas absolutely has something to prove, and that man right there, Quinn Ewers, has something to prove as well, okay? And Steve Sarkisian, their head coach, knows it, and Texas can wear your ass out. They've got an offensive line that the NFL teams would ask for right now. Now, here's the interesting part. Clemson's quarterback, all right, Cade Klubnik, went to Westlake High School. Coach, Westlake High School is in Austin, Texas. Pretty much everybody that he played with in high school, because Westlake, the Chaparrals, that is a top-tier program in high school football. Everybody that he played with and played against is on the other side. He knows all of them, but they know him too. It's a homecoming for Klubnik here. You know what? We'll talk about Texas in a little while, but they got something to prove in this one. They absolutely do.
They do, and the books think they should be recognized, and we've got several different bets that we're going to throw out and see what the guys like here in a couple of minutes. Raphael, let me come down to you. 12 points in a bowl game that players are opting out, they're in the portal, that makes a lot of sense. But a playoff game with a 12-point spread, that screams red flag, but I don't know which side the red flag is on. You?
Well, that number 12 is because Texas is at home. It's a hard place to go there and steal a road game. And Clemson, we're all going to talk about Clemson's defense because they do play D, but let's talk about Texas's D, who's been dominating since that Georgia loss when they let Georgia score 30 points on them. Everyone's looking at Ewers and at offense. I think they win on this game on defense. That's where the total has dropped. Total opened up at 53.5, now down to 52. Would not shock me if we see it come down even more. Whoever wins this game is because of whoever controls the D line. If Clemson can't run the ball on Texas's defense, this game can be very, very ugly. I like Texas defense to win this game.
Very interesting. Teasing the future a little bit. All right, game number.
Coach, sorry, apologies. Can I say
sorry,
one thing real quick?
Yeah,
No.
Of course.
I just want to say, Clemson's quarterback, Klubnik, how good that this guy is, okay? He set Westlake High School's passing record, okay? Now, you might be saying to yourself, it's a high school passing record. Who cares? Do you know who he beat at that high school? This is just Westlake High School.
Tell me.
Drew Brees, Nick Foles, and Sam Ehlinger. This is a factory for quarterbacks, and this dude put up video game numbers. Like, Klubnik is legit. Don't sleep on him. I just don't know if the other 21 dudes are ready for Texas.
Kirk says this is an under-game faux show. We'll see, Kirk, what the crew thinks here in a few minutes. Now, I'm trying to figure out, guys, for the life of me, and I understand getting individual big-time games makes sense. Netflix is getting into the game. TNT, it almost feels like they're throwing stuff against the wall because they just lost the NBA. In what universe does having 2 playoff games for a network that shows no college football games make any sense whatsoever unless you're the TNT executives? DG, are you surprised to hear that 2 of these games, well, one game on SMU Penn State will be on TNT and HBO Max on Saturday? Does that make any sense to you?
It makes no sense, but they're just thinking that everybody has every streaming platform, every whatever you might have out there. Everybody's going to find a way to watch it if you really want to watch it. And so I don't think they care. Just like you said, the execs, they care. They don't care about the people.
AB, your thought? I mean, you're going to have people, I guarantee, on Twitter be like, hey, where's the game at? I can't find the game.
Yeah, you are. And look, I understand it. Look, going for the money grab, and rightfully so, because they paid the money for it, right? I don't think it's smart. Like, you're just going to have people like, where the hell is this game? And remember, there are 2 NFL games on Saturday as well. Like, mass confusion going on. Yeah, it's going to be absolute madness, man.
They caught flack last night, and full transparency, I work for the PGA Tour, but there were buddies of mine that also work with me at the tour. And last night, one of the game-changing events in golf happened on TNT, and nobody knew it was happening. It was Rory McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, number 1 player in the world, taking on Bryson and Brooks Koepka from Live Golf. The first time we've seen 4 guys from the 2 different tours together, and TNT did not promote it at all. And Barkley was on it. Like, it was, I watched all of it because I'm a golf fanatic, but I didn't see anybody on social media talk. You've got to market these games, especially when they're one-offs. You got to do it. I haven't seen any SMU Penn State stuff yet. I haven't.
None.
I haven't. All right. Game number 4. And this is on, Clemson, Texas, by the way, is also, I knew there was 2 games. All these bowl games, when you go on ESPN.com, there's bowl games within those. So Clemson, Texas is also on TNT, as is SMU. So 2 games. I knew I was right. Tennessee, Ohio State. And AB, I got to start with you, big boy. This is your squad. This is your team. You're part of the NIL collective, but yet the disrespect of the Volunteers going to Columbus, going to the shoe, and getting 7.5 points. You're up, sir. You're up.
Give you the disrespect. Take all of it. You know what? We have no chance to win. Ohio State, you're just such a better program than we could be. We're just happy to share the field with you. Look, I'm speaking like Belichick. Let me tell you this. Number 1, Tennessee fans stole and hacked into Ohio State season ticket holders' first option to buy tickets and spread it around. Number 2, Tennessee fans kept going and are buying more and more and more. You could play this game on the moon and we'd put 40,000 up there. It's going to be an awesome atmosphere. Ohio State, the shoe, is a great place. Ohio State's got a great defense. It's going to be near freezing temperatures. It's going to be cold as hell. It's at night. All right. Tennessee, pretty good defense as well. You see that guy right there, 27, James Pierce? Yeah, he's going to be a top 5 pick. This dude is a monster. You're going to see him in the NFL lighting quarterbacks up. Same thing with your boy right there for Ohio State. It's going to be a hell of a game. Let me say this, though. There's no one in sports that has more pressure on them than Ryan Day, head coach of Ohio State. There's no one. And it's so much pressure that if I were Ryan Day, I actually would have preferred a road game instead of a home game, because if it doesn't start well for Ohio State, they're ready to fire him. They will boo and let them know about it, and it could turn ugly. Ohio State needs to score fast. Let me just say that.
All over social media, they're talking about Mike Vrabel right now. All over ESPN, any other talk shows, they're talking about Mike Vrabel right now. You could argue that this is the number 1 job in all of college football. You could argue that. If you factor in the NIL money, if you factor in the passion, the following, this could be the best job in all of college football. And I think ABDG is right on point. The last time we saw this Buckeyes team on the field, they scored 10 points against a bad Michigan team and allowed them to put that flag in the middle of their field that is changing state laws. That's what we had coming out of their last game. And now they have to rebound and beat AB's Volunteers by more than 7.5, to me, that's a big ask.
It is a big ask because this Ohio State team is going to go up against the best defense they have seen all season. And that says a lot because they played Oregon. But I think this Vols team is for real. And I think that they have a lot that on the defensive side that can really keep them in the game. And that's what I look for in a lot of these matchups, whether it's the NFL or the college football, is can your defense keep you in a big game? And at that point, can Nico actually make the right decisions to hit the right receivers down the stretch? And then they also have another running back in Sampson who is crazy good. And so I really do like this Vols team. I married a Vol, for God's sake. So I'm definitely looking at the Vols to win.
Well, volunteers haven't always been the brightest bulbs on the tree. So we'll forgive her for making that mistake, but it's okay. It's okay. Raphael, let me come down to you because the total is kind of where my eyes went. To me, a college total is normally with these offenses and lack of defense. We're talking in the 50s. This is only 46.5, which screams a lot of defense to me. Is this too high, too low for you as far as the total is concerned?
Well, if you're looking at that, Coach, mute your mic and bet this now because there's 45.5s popping up as we speak right now. So I think this one stays under the total. There's 46.5 won't be there. This minus 7.5 won't be there. They're just trying to, the odds makers and books are just trying to grab Tennessee money right now at plus 7.5 and boost that money line up for Tennessee at plus 235. That money line around 7.5 should be around plus 230, anywhere around there. They added an extra nickel to try to get as much Tennessee money as possible. So when they move it to 7, you can balance the books off that way. Ohio State money will come in when a half hook goes bye-bye. I'm a feeling that more money line tickets on plus 235 on Tennessee will come in than the plus 7 because everyone knows Ohio State's woes. They can't win the big game. This day going to be gone on this one. The books are probably going to be a little bit lopsided with dog money, but I think they have to take that 7 off to balance it.
I'm so glad you said that. AB, of the 4 games, I think to me when you look at the money line play, this is the one that a lot of fans are going to look at because of how Ohio State looked recently.
Yeah, I would say this. If you're going to take Tennessee, like I'm not saying don't take the points, just go ahead and put money on the money line, right? Like I think either team, whoever wins this game, I don't think it's going to be close because there's so much pressure packed into this game that it's not. It'll be tight. I think this game is going to be awesome, but it's going to get out of control because Ryan Day has all kinds of pressure. And let me just tell you, all right, all kidding aside, from a Tennessee perspective, Josh Heupel will do insane things in this game. And I don't mean positively, right? Like he will make crazy decisions and Ryan Day could make crazy decisions as well. You're going to see it on both sides. All right. You're going to see a bunch of 4th down attempts from Tennessee. They just will not, like he'll go for it. 4th and 6 on his own side. Josh Heupel will go for it. Like you'll see that kind of stuff. Tennessee generally plays from behind. Weirdly enough, especially in the first half of games, they go to halftime down. They generally come back in games. Yeah, it's good, but it ain't good against a team like Ohio State because Ohio State can wear you out, and that defense is great enough to say, you ain't scoring anything, Hoss. So this is going to be a hell of a game, man. Watch the coaching decisions because it could get just banana land crazy.
Ladies and gentlemen, after the last 90 seconds, I encourage you to go to any other brand, any other show, and then you're going to come right back here and you're going to ask this very simple question. I encourage you all to do this with me. Do you want to do the work? I didn't think so. Nobody knows Tennessee volunteer football like my man AB. Now, there are some other bets that you can make at various sports books. There are some other bets. We're going to use DraftKings for the sake of this particular show. And I want to start, gentlemen, with the odds to win it all. And we'll use this as wallpaper. We're going to take a look at the first round. But, DG, I'm going to start with you because when you're talking about odds, Oregon's plus 360, Texas has the same number, Ohio State's plus 475, and Georgia is plus 500. Which number there do you think matches where you think the champion will come out of?
I'm looking at Texas is where I'm kind of going to stick my flag in the ground. Hopefully I don't get fined for that. But I'm looking at Texas because I really do think that they have enough on both sides of the ball to really give them a chance. And so I don't like Oregon's path. And so I'm going to go with Texas there.
The path is very, very important. Producer man, can we go to the brackets so people can see the path of these as we talk about? Thank you very much. Because AB, your Tennessee Volunteers, it would be Ohio State, then it'd be Oregon, and then, I mean, their path is hard, but at plus 2,500, would they be worth a little sprinkle for you?
Who, Tennessee?
Yeah, Tennessee's plus 2,500.
Yeah, it's worth a sprinkle, but you know what? Like, it's a tough road, and I don't know if Tennessee's got it in them. I'll never count my boys out, but there are some teams that are just more consistent here. But you're right for Oregon. Like, that's a brutal draw for the 1 seed. Take a look at the bottom, because if you're Notre Dame or you're Penn State, like, there's one upset away from, I'm not saying that it's easy, but like, it's a weird bracket right there. And then I've got Arizona State, and nothing against them, but remember, they were supposed to be last in their conference. Last. Now, they had a hell of a year, but if Texas beats Clemson, I mean, I don't think Texas is scared of Arizona State. Like, it's gonna be wild, man. Like, the conference champion get a bye part is very interesting because you get really weird like matchups here. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think next year that's going to be one of the tweaks that they make is they're going to change to seedings, not the conferences.
And not to interrupt you, but think about this: if Ohio State beats Tennessee, Ohio State and Oregon play for a third time this year.
Crazy, absolutely bananas. Third time? I thought Penn State played Oregon in the Big Ten championship.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. Second time. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. But still, it's a rematch.
Yeah.
And I think that if they go by seedings, you could have a little bit more creativity to not have a rematch till potentially the national championship game instead of round number 2 or the quarterfinals. Raphael, speaking of Arizona State, plus 5,500. And if anybody's been watching them play football lately, my goodness, they are playing fantastic football. There's only one team, Boise State, at plus 6,500, that has worse odds than them. So are you looking at the top and a little chalky, or do you think there's somebody down below, like AB said, that maybe might surprise us a little bit?
Well, since the futures got readjusted and posted them out after the committee selected, Notre Dame is getting the most betting action. Some books had them at 9-1. DraftKings has them at plus 750 right now. The interesting part of me is Arizona State. You know, they're praying to the bowl gods that Clemson beats Texas. They want nothing to do with Texas. If Texas, Arizona State plays, that might be a complete bloodbath. So they're hoping for Clemson. But I just think Notre Dame probably beats Indiana, and it's going to be very interesting how healthy is Georgia going to be on that pathway. That pathway, Notre Dame, I think that's why people are betting them because of the health of Georgia and if Notre Dame can get past Indiana.
It's very, very important. And when you look at the odds, you've got, as I mentioned, Oregon, you see where they are. Then you got Texas, that's the top half of the bracket. Ohio State's also the top half of the bracket. And then Georgia is the only one at the bottom as far as betting favorites. So it's very important to do your own work. But if you're going to bet on multiple teams at these numbers, make sure you don't bet on 4 teams from the same side of the bracket. Like, spread them out just a little bit. Sprinkle just a little bit. All right? Do a little bit of the work. You're watching the College Football Playoff Show. We're going to do this before every single round. The first round, 1 game on Friday, Indiana and Notre Dame, and the other 3 spread out throughout the day. Now, also at DraftKings AB, you can bet on specific matchups. And this is kind of where we do the hypothetical, the fantasy part of the show. Like exact matchups. Oregon, Georgia is plus 600. Georgia, Texas is plus 600. Texas, Penn State is plus 700. Then Oregon, Penn State is plus 750. Then it goes on down from there. What do you think could be the tastiest final matchup? And would you hesitate to tell people to play this particular bet? Because it's got to be very specific.
You're talking about in the national championship, the two exact teams, right?
Yeah, those are the odds.
So, okay, apologies earlier when I said Ohio State and Oregon. I was thinking Texas and Georgia, if they played each other, that would be the third time this year. Also, Ohio State, if they end up playing Texas up there at the top, Quinn Ewers came from Ohio State. He left them and went down to Texas. Like, that could be interesting. I'll tell you the bet to take right now, and I've already placed it at DraftKings. Okay. Placed it 2 days ago. In the national championship, Oregon versus Notre Dame. 1,300.
Okay. Oregon, Notre Dame, plus 1,300. The number is still there. It's still plus 1,300. Exactly.
I've already bet it. I am all over that.
What about you, DG? What do you think could be the specific matchup in that championship game?
Yeah, these are so tough. The plus 600 doesn't do enough for me because that's so tough to win all those games to get there. And so I'm looking at something crazy, and I don't even know if this is even out there, but I saw Brian Tonsoni was actually talking about it just for fun because I'm going to sprinkle this one. Tennessee versus Indiana, because why not? This would be so much fun if this happened this way. And so that's the only thing I would play on this.
Can I tell you at least the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 lines at DraftKings does not have this matchup. You got about every matchup. They do not have that one. Wow. Now, there may be more below it, but I have the first. So that's 28 bets. 28 bets.
It's 350 to 1. It's 350 to 1. 350 to 1.
Wow.
350 to 1.
Yep.
For that to be the matchup.
Yes.
That might be worth a sprinkle.
Let me say, if Indiana and Tennessee make it to the national championship in Atlanta, Georgia, you're going to need the National Guard, and that might not be enough. That city will be on fire. It will be insanity.
Can you imagine? Brian said in the chat, he goes, we could have showdowns all over the brand. Tennessee, AB will be losing his mind. Indiana, DG will be like, hey, fam, I'll see you later. I'll be back in 5 days. That would be amazing for us. It really, really would. It really, really would.
I'll tell you this. If Tennessee makes the national championship, I promise you we will do a show from the damn field. I promise you that. So there you go.
That's a big-time public promise right there. A big-time public promise. Guys, DraftKings is going to allow us to make it even more specific. And maybe, DG, these numbers will wet your whistle just a little bit. Everything is north of plus 1,000. So it's almost like a gym, which unfortunately you've been very, very good at this year. But you can pick matchups and a team to beat a team. For example, Texas beating Georgia, plus 1,100. Oregon beating Georgia, plus 1,100. Georgia beating Oregon, plus 1,200. Texas beating Penn State, plus 1,300. You get where I'm going with this. What do you think would be a good bet? And I will tell you if you have it here in the first 28 lines once again.
Yeah, I actually like the first one you talked about, the Texas versus Georgia. I like that the most just because I think Georgia has a chance to come out from the bottom a little bit easier. And I think Oregon's going to have a tough second game no matter who they – or the first game, second game overall, who they're going to play there. And so if Texas can take out Clemson and then Arizona State, I think they're rolling at that point going against that Oregon team.
All right, this next statement, I'm going to feel like AB because AB always takes me a little bit deeper. AB, at these numbers, you could play Georgia or Texas beating Georgia at plus 1,100. If you think those are going to be the last two teams, you could then have Georgia beating Texas at plus 1,300. So if they make it, now you're going to cash at least plus 1,000. If you're putting $100 on both, you're going to make plus 1,000 no matter what.
You are correct, sir. You are absolutely correct. And I'll tell you this. I'll place two of them, okay? The first one, Oregon defeats Notre Dame plus 1,900.
Okay.
Then Notre Dame defeats Oregon plus 2,500. I feel both of these teams in the championship game, and you place even money on both of those. I mean, clearly, either way, like you would come out ahead, obviously, like just by the numbers. I really like this Oregon team, and I really like this Notre Dame team. They're very, very full on both sides, man. They can play football.
I wonder if DraftKings realizes, Raphael, maybe not all shows are as smart as us. Maybe they don't do this every single day. But if you go to this space and you bet the 2, then obviously you'd have to double your play. But if you're in the other space at like plus 600, you're almost going to make double your money, but it'll cost you double. So it's almost the same thing. But I like this one a little bit more. It seems like more fun.
It is, but I can hear the sports books probably laughing at us because they hold about 12% on this prop bet right now. So, yeah, because let's face it, if one of those teams go out, then you lose both of your bets. So it's pretty hard to hold a percentage on this matchup. I like Ohio State beating Notre Dame. I think, 23 to 1 on this one if I had to pull a trigger on this one. But this is a great way to look at how you're going to play college, these college football playoffs. A great way to root. If you don't want to play games on games, you can just bet 2 or 3 of these, sit back and enjoy the games throughout the college football playoff.
I like fun bets. It drives me nuts when people make sports betting out to be super, super, super serious 100% of the time. There's a ton of fun bets here. Just like AB said a couple of days, these are fun. Don't expect to hit them. But if you do, damn it, we're going to tout the heck out of it here on the show. Are you kidding me right now? All right, last one I want to hit on, then we're going to do our picks. And this has been a lot of fun. I can't wait to do this every single week. So you can bet on the conference to win the national championship. AB, the Big Ten is minus 120. You've got Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, and Indiana. The SEC is plus 160. You've got Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee. Independents plus 800. Of course, that is just Notre Dame. And if you want to have a little bit of fun, you can go to the Big 12 at plus 6,000, and that is Arizona State. So their number to win it in the Big 12 is a little bit better than if you just bet on Arizona State to win it on their own. Am I missing a Big 12 team? There's only one, right?
Who? Arizona State?
Yeah, it's the only one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So their number to win it all is plus 5,500. But if you bet on the Big 12 conference, you get it plus 6,000. So,
there you go.
You know what I mean?
You found a glitch in the matrix. All right. So I'll tell you this. I'll bet the SEC and I'll bet independent. And I'll tell you why.
Okay.
If Texas beats Clemson, I think Texas beats Arizona State. Oregon could beat Tennessee or Ohio State, right? I mean, they're good enough to do that. But it's going to be a war. And that's why, I don't think Notre Dame's the best team in the country. What I think is that they're a team that didn't have to play a conference championship game. Clemson did, all right? Texas did. Arizona State did. Oregon did. Boise State did. Georgia did. Penn State did. SMU did, right? They played one less game, all right? And if Notre Dame gets through Indiana, all right, yeah, Georgia's sitting right there. But again, I'm just looking at attrition here. So I kind of like independent, like Notre Dame or Georgia. And I kind of dig if Texas gets past Arizona State, Oregon could be beat up. You know what I mean? So I think that just looking at it, I like the outside perimeters here, SEC and independent.
I love this. Is so much fun. DG, how are you looking at this space as far as conferences are concerned?
It's tough because obviously you think the Big Ten minus the 120. I do like that, but really there's only one team that kind of does it for me, and that's Oregon. So I really wouldn't go that direction because I don't think Penn State, no matter how good they are, I don't think Penn State is that good. And so I do obviously like Indiana, but that's a tough hill to climb for sure. So if it was me, I'm probably looking at the SEC because I know Georgia has a backup quarterback. But if he's good at all, their defense is good enough to win the game for them. And then Texas coming down from the top. So if I'm looking at anything, I have to look at plus money, and it's got to go with the SEC.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious why the Big Ten is at minus 120 because they've got 4 teams spread out. The SEC got 2 on one side and 1 on the other. So, Raphael, how are you looking at this?
Well, you were discussing earlier, independent is 8 to 1, but Notre Dame to win it all is plus 750. And the reason why you look at that is because each topic is hold to separate. So when you're trying to hold percentage on that, you can't change one graphic and change the other side of it. So yeah, that's why. So shop around. Why would you want to take Notre Dame at 750 when you can just get them to win independent at 8 to 1? So make sure you shop around. I think Notre Dame's very interesting because they see the backup of Georgia and all that. But the Big Ten minus 120. If anyone falls, because they will readjust the odds after the week 1 or after the first round is over. So if let's say if Indiana falls or Indiana wins and Ohio State wins, then you're probably looking at minus $2. So I think minus 120 is not that bad of a price if Big Ten goes really good in the first round, because it'd be minus $2 or higher when you open up that thing for the quarterfinals.
That is such a great point. And there is a lot of getting in before Friday night, because I know what's going to happen in the chat. Ah, damn it. I wish I would have played that bet on Thursday of last week instead of waiting until I see the results. That's what happens. All right, we have arrived at the time of the show where, my guys, spreads or totals. If you want props and all that kind of stuff, you got to watch the morning show. Here, I told my guys spreads or totals, and we want you to participate in the chat. We want you to put in the chat, what would your 4 plays be for this week? So, AB, I want to start with you. The 4 games, how are you attacking them?
All right. Yes, sir. First one, we're going to go Notre Dame minus 7.5. Sorry, I do love Indiana and everything they've been about. Notre Dame's at home, and they understand exactly what time it is, and that place is going to be rocking, man. It's going to be a great game, but I'm going to roll with Notre Dame in that one. All right, Penn State minus 8.5. I think they're going to be too physical for SMU. I like SMU. Defense is solid, right? Quarterback could go, but Penn State, I think that James Franklin knows what time it is. They might not win any more games in it, but they're physical enough to go and just hammer down. I don't mind taking a big spread right there. Clemson, Texas, over 52. This game's going to turn into just a banana land shootout. Everybody's going to bet the under, go the opposite way, because Clemson doesn't have a damn thing to lose, and they're going to throw it deep. Some will be touchdowns, and some will be pick sixes, and you've got a quarterback in Quinn Ewers who is for real trying to keep a Manning from taking his spot. He is going to be lights out in this game, and they're going to play both of them. Arch Manning can run too. And then finally, Tennessee State, Ohio State over 46.5. It's going to be freezing. It's going to not make any sense. This game's not going to make any sense, but it's going to be fun as hell, and you're going to see points all over the board because both teams are big-time programs that can go, and they can screw things up too, and you're going to see that as well. It's going to be a wild game. So I'm going to roll with the over 46.5.
As Z would say, if you want to get nuts, let's get nuts. I love that start by
Also,
AB.
real quick, you
Yes.
can take Tennessee over 19.5 points in the team total. 19.5. Like we'll talk about more on the morning shows, but dude, my man Kendall in the chat, take a look at these props for these teams. Tennessee's over 2.5 touchdowns. You look, we'll talk more about it, but yeah, just keep that in mind.
I would encourage people to tune in on Friday for Football Friday for more of that kind of stuff. I'm making sure that it's not my Wi-Fi and not my screen. Is the screen blank to you guys too?
It is. So it looks like we lost our producer, but hang tight. Let your boy come in here. Hey, talk amongst yourselves there for a second. Hold on.
All right. So real quick, DG, let me come over to you. It's not shocking that you're taking Indiana. I would have been more shocked if you would have taken Notre Dame. Was there even a thought in your mind to take Notre Dame in this in any way, shape, or form?
Nope, not thought at all. I have this thing right here. And I'm ready.
Oh, no.
I'm ready for my plays, Coach, because
give it to me. Let's go.
All right, let's go to the first one. That's going to be the Indiana plus 7.5. If my kid wouldn't have put on this hat before I put it on, I would have wore it right away. But we got Indiana. I just think that this team has a chance to just kind of shock the world a little bit because there's no reason that they should be here. But Kirk Cincinnati has got this team here, and I believe that they are going to show out in the first half. It's going to be a little cold, but the snow is going to hold off just long enough. And then we're going to go to the next game, and that is the SMU Penn State over 54. SMU needs to figure out how to stop the run. I don't think either one of these two teams can really stop anybody, in my opinion. SMU scores 36.8 points per game, while Penn State 33.6. I got this flying on the over 54. And then the next game, Texas. I think Clemson sucks. And so I have to take Texas at minus 12. They had 14 total plays of 136 yards and scored 21 points against that SMU team.
Oh,
no, you're not doing that in this game against Texas. And so Texas rolls. And last one, Tennessee. Coach, I told you I married a Tennessee alum. I would probably be sleeping in the doghouse if I didn't have Tennessee plus 7.5. I'm just trying to figure out which sportsbook is going to give me my home state boost the day of the game.
Well, we know you don't have a doghouse at your house because you're a cat guy. Oh, so maybe you can sleep with the cats. Who knows? All right, well done. By the way, Joe says the hat's looking a little bit dusty. Did you have that in the closet? Pulled it out for today?
Nope. Got it right here behind me in my hat rack.
Hey, DG's that guy that's selling illegal gas station hats. I love it.
By the way, Joe just used the worst joke. I've heard it before. Is your wife the only 10 you see? Oh, golly. Yes. But we love the chat. Yes, you do. That's very good. That's very good. Mama Greer. We love her. All right, Raphael, coming over to you. Talk to me.
My first one, I'm taking the Hoosiers plus 7.5 laying of 3 nickels because there's no way 7.5 is going to be on the board by Friday when we kick off. So grab this number now. There's 7's pretty much popping up right now. I'm just grabbing the better number and grabbing the better team on the offensive side. Yeah, Notre Dame can run the ball, but this defense of Indiana, the front 7 will probably stop them like they did against Ohio State in the second half. Ohio State had problems with the Indiana defense in the second half. Give me SMU Penn State over 54. I think this is going to be a sloppy, would not shock me if we see a defensive touchdown and maybe even a special teams touchdown, but SMU's mobile quarterback is going to cause problems for Penn State's defense, especially at linebacker U. So I'll take the over at 54. And I just got to take Clemson plus 12. Texas wins this game, but there's just too many points. This one's going to be 11.5, probably as we're done taping. And this one will probably drop all the way to 10.5. I can see that happening. A lot of Clemson money coming in. I'm just grabbing the better number. And Ohio State, minus 7.5, minus a nickel. This one, again, will be a touchdown favorite. So if you like Ohio State, wait and get the 7 because I think money will going to come in on that. So it's probably going to move. It's the last game, depending on how many people lose on Friday with the Indiana game and the 2 other games. The Joe Public will move this number. I like the Buckeyes at home.
There's going to be a lot of people chasing. And Raphael, did you not see what I like to call the key right above you? Or as Rick said, coach might sweep with all 4 of his picks. I've never felt more confident in 4 picks in my life. Notre Dame, I'll steal AB's word, is a wagon. They will score and score and score and score. And so will Indiana. That 51 is like a sitting duck. SMU Penn State, the same thing. Did we not see the Nittany Lions against Oregon, the number 1 team in the country, score and score and score? And SMU did the same thing. That one over 54. This one will sail into the 60s. And then Clemson, I'll take my chances. I don't think Texas looked very good against Georgia. And I know it's Georgia. But Clemson, all you got to do is stay within 12. I may buy this. If it goes to 12.5, I may buy a 1.5. I'm not scared to do that. And then Tennessee. I've watched Ohio State, not just against Michigan, but Ohio State against Penn State, won by a touchdown. I just don't think as the year has gone on, if you look at all of their games, they've gotten worse. They played their best against Oregon 3 months ago. I think Tennessee getting a touchdown and a half, it's a gift. Welcome to AB to your quarterfinals, sir. I think you went on the field, to be honest with you. All right.
Go.
Now, we are doing this every single week before every single round. So we're going to end every show. And the number today, live number, has been amazing. You guys are awesome. You find us wherever we go. So thank you for that. But we need to do our final takes on the first round. DG, start us off.
I'm excited about Friday night. That's where it comes down for me. This is a great kickoff to the entire 12-team college football playoff. You get the Battle of Indiana. And so great for the fan base there in Bloomington to kind of have this stage. And so I hope they come out and get a huge upset on Friday night.
Raphael, talk to me.
I'm excited for Saturday's games because not only do we have college football on Saturday, we also have 2 NFL games. So be patient bettors. Get the number you are looking for. Don't just place a bet because you want to take a bet. Place it. Be smart with your money. There's a great football. Excited for Saturday with college football playoffs and NFL football.
My numbers guy, always taking care of you. Always can count on him. AB, bring us home.
All right, so stay with me here. I need just a second. Producer man, could you pull up the graphic with all 4 spreads and totals real quick? All right, I want everybody to literally screenshot this and keep it with you, okay? So you're going to see all 4 totals, all right? I want you to remember these numbers, okay? I don't know if producer man's got it or not. Here we go.
We're there right now.
There you go. All right, so See these totals, okay? Now, with this, going to the quarterfinals, okay? I want you to remember, every one of these teams, Arizona State, Oregon, Boise State, Georgia, they all played an extra game against the top 15 team. Number 2, they have also, go back. They have also sat for a month. Go back. Just stay there. Stay on the other one. They've sat for a month, okay? These teams have sat for an entire month without playing. So you've played an extra game against a tough team. Georgia lost their quarterback. You've also sat for a month where the team you're playing just played a week ago. And then finally, I don't know where we're going. All right.
You stay right there.
Yeah. So, and then finally, on top of all of that, okay, all of these games for these teams that haven't played, those aren't home games. Those are all road games. They're road games for both teams. So now you get the bye, but you don't get a home game. You're playing like whoever Oregon plays, that's in the Rose Bowl. Georgia's going on the road. Boise State's going on the road. Arizona State's going on the road. So you haven't played in a month. You played an extra game, and you lose the home field type advantage, giving the advantage to the team that is playing right there. So those totals you see in the first are going to go down. All right. So remember that. Raphael will keep us updated as we go. I know that was a lot to digest, but it's absolutely something to remember as we get past the first round.
And we will obviously, AB, talk about it on next week's show when we see what the quarterfinals are going to look like and how the numbers are all adjusted. But as always on the morning show, we'll be doing it as well. Thank you to Joe saying thank you so much for the extra show, gentlemen. And you guys, we had a bigger audience on this one than we did on the morning show. That's how great you guys are. That's how great you guys are. So understand this, that Friday night game number 1, Football Friday on Friday morning, we'll have everything, bowl games, college playoff games, the NFL on Saturday, the NFL on Sunday. We got you covered. You'll want to join us right here. And if you miss any of that, every weekday, 3 p.m. Eastern, we're on Stadium as well. So thank you guys very much. We love this so very much. All right, go out into the world now. Pay it forward. Be kind to one another. Be honest with each other. And understand this. There is only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these college football playoff tickets straight to the pay window. My entire crew, love ball. My man, DG. My numbers guy, Raphael. Producer, man, always behind the scenes, hearing 4 different voices in his head and always giving it his best. I am Sipway, the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about right here every single day, even specialty shows at DTL. Good luck.